crews put up a new fence barrier around the Supreme Court today after days of protests. Advocates on both sides have gone to the Supreme Court all week long following a leak of a court opinion draft. Now, that draft indicated the Supreme Court may try to overturn Roe v. Wade. The document, again, only a draft. A final ruling is not expected for another month or two. Americans all over the country really want to know what the Supreme Court has planned for Roe v. Wade. That leaked opinion draft suggests the court may decide to overrule the decision. That's a decision that's been standing for nearly 50 years. Some lawmakers want Congress to take control of the situation. They're pushing the Senate to pass a bill protecting abortion rights before a final ruling. Now, Governor Roy Cooper joined 18 governors pushing Congress to take action. He said, "Our collective responsibility to defend access to reproductive health care and a woman's right to make her own decisions has never been more important." Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson responded as well. He said, "I am calling on the General Assembly to act. If the Supreme Court hands the power to the states, it will be our duty to protect the life of the unborn." Now, the specific bill Democrats want signed into law is the Women's Health Protection Act. It passed the House last fall. It bans the government from restricting access to abortions. The bill also says the government can't stop doctors from doing certain things like prescribing drugs or offering abortion services. No Republicans voted for it. All but one Democrat voted to pass it. Now, political experts say a congressional procedure called the filibuster could block the bill from ever getting to vote. A filibuster allows senators to prolong debate for however long they want. It can delay or prevent votes entirely. Senators need to pass a cloture motion to end the filibusters. That requires 60 senators to pass that measure. Now, Democrats have pressured President Biden to get rid of the filibuster with an executive order. He says he's hesitant because of the consequences.
I'm not prepared to make those judgments now about, but I think the codification of Roe makes a lot of sense.
He says it would allow Republicans to push bills forward when the party is in power on the other side of the aisle. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's committed to keeping the filibuster in place.
And we went through that exercise a couple of months ago. I said it was the most important day in the history of the Senate as an institution. That remains the case.
He says removing the filibuster breaks the Senate. Now, the discussion has people wondering, would a congressional law cancel out a Supreme Court decision? So let's verify.
Can Congress pass a law that supersedes a Supreme Court ruling? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, the U.S. Supreme Court, Professor Casey Burgett, director of the Legislative Affairs Program at George Washington University, and the Women's Health Protection Act. The answer is yes. Congress could pass a law that would supersede a Supreme Court ruling, but that law could later be struck down by the Supreme Court. In fact, lawmakers have already introduced the Women's Health Protection Act, which would codify Roe v. Wade, legally affirming a pregnant person's right to an abortion. In September 2021, the bill was passed in the House, and on February 28th, the Senate voted against bringing the bill to the floor. But if Congress passes a federal law that codifies a person's right to an abortion, it would supersede this potential Supreme Court decision.
So keep in mind, if the bill becomes a law, a future Supreme Court decision could nullify that. We expect the Roe v. Wade final decision to come sometime this summer, and that puts in months before the midterm elections. One political expert says it changes the landscape for both parties this year and in future elections.
I tell my students about the difference between bedroom and boardroom Republicans. Those boardroom Republicans that are concerned about financial issues and say the other stuff doesn't really matter, a lot of those folks, that's going to matter now. And whoever the Democratic nominee is in 24 will have to be in favor of women's reproductive rights. I don't think there's any way a Democrat couldn't be